Okay, on number 16, here we give you the restrictions. These would be your restrictions. These are your restrictions. Okay, and these all need to get graphed. We're going to graph. Okay, so here these might look a little confusing at first, but what you can kind of do is just ignore. This is a compound inequality. You can just ignore part of it at a time. Here's a restriction. Y has to be less than or equal to 4. Or y has to be greater than or equal to 0. We're basically saying that the values of y are between 0 and 4. Now, if it makes you happy to write this out, y is greater than or equal to 0 and y is less than or equal to 4, that's what that really means. Same thing for the x. We know x has to be greater than 0 and y has to be, x has to be greater than 0 and x has to be less than 3. If it makes you happy, write them out. So these are actually 4 different lines. We have 2 horizontal lines and 2 vertical lines. And then we're followed up by 1 diagonal line here, since the equation has both x and y in it. Now, when we go to graph, you notice that x and y are greater than 0, which means we're basically in the first quadrant. So we're really going to be graphing positive values. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let the xy axis just be the 2 sides of this graph. Okay. So this is my origin here. This is the point 0, comma 0. That's your origin. Okay. And now I need to get these graphed. So I know I've already done the y is 0, x is 0, and we know we're going up here and over there. So now y is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's right here. This is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got a horizontal line here at 4. And I need to be smaller than 4. So I know I'm between here and here. Now x is 3. 1, 2, 3. That's right here. Well, that's a vertical line of x is 3. And I know I'm greater than 0, but I'm less than 3. So that puts me inside this little box here. So now the only question is, what about this last line? Well, this last line is in standard form. We can use the cover-up method. The x-intercept is 5. The y-intercept is 5. So I'm going to go 5 on the x. Again, this was at 3. This was at 3 there. So 4, 5. And this is 4, 5. So if I connect this up, I'm going to get a diagonal line here. Okay. I have a diagonal line. And now the only real question is, which side of this line am I on? Am I in this little triangle, or am I in this 5-sided figure? Because I know I'm inside this box. So we follow the sign here. This is less than 5. If we did the test point 0, 0, 0 would be less than 5. That's true. So I'm shading below this line, so that puts us inside of this shaded area, which means my critical points are the corners of the shaded box. Okay, got a point here, point here, point here, point here, and point here. And it says to mark the critical points. Okay, so if I mark the critical points here, we know our critical points are 0, 0. Moving up, that's 0, 4. Moving over, looks like that's 1, 4. Moving down, this is 3, 2. And moving down to the bottom here, this is 3, 0. So here's my set of critical points. Okay? We're not going to do anything else on this particular problem. I'm just saying, can you take the restrictions on this question that were listed here, get them on the graph, and then list the critical points. Okay?